so here is what I want to do. First of all, my entire presentation is not as long as her resume, so I'm setting the bar really low for your expectations today. I'm going to be more tactual, more actual tactics than philosophy, and I hope that's okay with everybody. So I'll give you a quick intro for myself. My name's Chris Drouin. I work here in Troy with a company called Sandler, and it's Sandler Training, and bluntly, we help salespeople. We are a member of the Troy Chamber. This is my 4th time presenting at the Troy Nonprofit Conference, and in addition to being a presenter, we are members of the Chamber, and I have a background in fundraising. I am, my horrible joke, Laurel has taken my class. She's heard this joke before. You can't turn the punchline. So I'll just go ahead and say it. Is everyone on mute or is everyone off mute? Because I want classroom participation on this. So how do you know somebody runs marathons?
They tell you.
How do you know somebody runs
They tell you.
How do you know
They tell you.
How do you know somebody went to Brother Rice High School? They tell you. So I went to Brother Rice here in Bloomfield Hills. I'm the former director of advancement and marketing there. In the 3 years that I was there, we doubled both the amount of donors and the amount of dollars that came into the school. And as much as I would love to take all the credit for that, I had an amazing team that I got to lead and an amazing team I got to work with. I had an amazing community of donors and volunteers and parents and alumni that shared their time, their talent, their treasure, all the above. So it really was a great fit for me to kind of get my first taste of fundraising. And really the reason why I present at these is altruistically, I love to give back to other nonprofits. But also, now that I'm not in nonprofit work, I'm doing sales training. And Sandler does sales training. And Laurel, I can put you on the spot. Laurel has actually taken my class. Laurel is a advancement coordinator. I don't remember your official title, but she's with Detroit Crystal right downtown. So Catholic High School doing fundraising, took my class, kind of taught her some of the basics of looking at this really as not a fundraising and an asking job, but a sales job, and using some sales techniques to make sure that you're prospecting and finding new people to offer your time, your talent, your treasure to support your mission. So if I could go around the room real quick, anybody with a show of hands wants to turn their mic on, wants to introduce themselves. I'm looking for 5, 6 people just to tell me a little bit about you, your role within the nonprofit, and then kind of what your mission is. Under 30 seconds, give us the quick version, because as I go through this, we might workshop a little bit of stuff and actually call out specifics within your industry, your community, your mission, and see if we can have some solutions on that. So anybody in the chat want to volunteer? Show of hands for anybody that wants to tell us who you are and what you do. Hi,
yes.
Krista.
Hi, I'm Krista Williams. I'm with Ascension Providence Foundation. I do fundraising for our Southfield and Novi campuses, the oncology departments, but I also do fundraising for Ascension Brighton Center for Recovery. And that is actually the passion part for me. I'm trying to help our people in our community who have substance use disorder and try and help them find a more positive place in life and get them back on their path toward living a more productive life. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Next, show of hands.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay, thanks.
We can hear you, Elizabeth.
I'm Elizabeth Brazilian. I'm the founder and director of development of Child Safe Michigan. We're a foster care and adoption agency. So my passion, of course, has been abused and neglected children. We are associated with the Judson Center, and we have a very robust mentoring program also for foster care kids. And we have 80 families that are licensed by us as our foster care families and homes. We care for and touch the lives of approximately 200 children a year. And I'm really thrilled to be on this conference. We need all the help during these particular times.
I Child Safe well. I did a bunch of work for Judson Center back in the day, and I know how important and valuable your mission is. So,
yeah.
So thank you for being here. Anyone else in chat or anyone else want to raise their hand and say yes? Josephine.
Hi, I'm Josephine from New Day Foundation for Families. We're a cancer foundation that help families financially and emotionally through the cancer crisis. We truly believe that we know that our grants are generous enough to get people through 3 months approximately worth of core household bills, house payments, insurance payments, utilities, and between our emotional and financial care, along with their medical care, it's really a complete circle of care for the patients and their families to get through this crisis.
Nice. So it really helps. How about one more? Anyone else in chat that isn't on my screen with a camera on that want to share who they are, what they do? I'm seeing 9 cameras on. I think that's it.
I'm Joanne Preston, Troy Historical Society. We are an education group, and we serve 4 to 5 counties surrounding the Troy community. And we went from 13,000 children per year coming in school buses to enjoy the village, to reaching out to how to educate them and make life better for them at home.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing. And as we go through this, if there's something relevant, chime in, we can chat. So I'm trying to share my screen, and my share my screen has a big X over it, so I'm not quite sure why. Sheila, are you moderating this at all? Are you considered the
No, but
presenter?
I will find out what is happening. So talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, my audio's on, my camera's on, and if I try to share my screen, I have a big, Ghostbusters logo through it, and I'm not quite sure why. So, Sheila, if you can chat with the Motown Digital folk, I'm going to start with this, and the first few slides aren't really that important. It's just more me getting an intro. So, Tom Krent had said, I can't see the presentation in chat. I can't either, so we're going to get it fixed. I have an upfront contract with all of the sessions that I teach, any events I do on Zoom. You're not allowed to apologize. We know that your kids are going to walk in the room. We know the dog is going to bark in the background. We know that outside your window is going to be the leaf blower from hell. We get it, right? And we're going to have technical issues. I made the joke before this that I finally mastered Ring Central, Zoom, GoToMeeting, Google Meet, everything else. And then they draw up and hop in, and I can't share my screen. So I'm not apologizing. We're going to roll through it. And these slides will be available for the chamber afterwards. So let's jump right into the material. The name of the session is the donor dance. And really, I call it the donor dance because fundraising is no different than sales. And there's definitely a dance between the buyer and seller in sales. And there's definitely a dance between the donor and the fundraiser in our nonprofits and the missions that we do. So what we really want to do today over the next few minutes is understand the donor system, what they're used to using to make their decisions, and how we can take control of the fundraising process so that we can make sure that we are in charge and we are leading the dance. So what the goal of this today is to really help you overcome some mistakes that you make during prospecting and make sure that we're increasing your opportunities for donors in your pipeline. And I want to make sure that I'm making this very clear because I speak donor, I speak nonprofit. I may not be an employee of Brother Rice anymore doing their fundraising, but I'm the current president of the U.S. Lacrosse Michigan chapter. And I'm also on the board for the Dildillion Foundation for the Trade. So I do nonprofit.
I apologize.
Hey,
did it change at all? They said you should have control.
No, I saw Motown Digital hop in, but my screen still has the Ghostbusters logo.
His screen still has the Ghostbusters logo over it.
Okay, I'm going to keep going. So here is my upfront contract with everybody. So in all of these I do, whether it's a prospecting call, whether it's a training, I want to make sure we all have a contract with each other for expectations. So the purpose of this today is high level. It's to give you high level tips on how to be a better fundraiser, even while we're under quarantine. And when I say fundraiser, I'm not just talking about dollars. I speak fundraiser language. We are looking for time. We are looking for volunteers. We are looking for talent. We are looking for leaders. We are looking for board members. We're looking for committee members. And we're looking for treasure. We're looking for dollars from individual donations, sponsorships, legacy donations. Anywhere where we can get some treasure out of them is why we prospect, why we try to raise time, talent, and treasure for our missions. So you're going to have questions for me today. And within what we have I talk fast. I only have a limited amount of time. I drink a lot of coffee. You are allowed to interrupt me. You are allowed to turn your microphone off and say, hey, Chris, go back. You are allowed to put something in chat and say, hold up, because I got a lot of stuff to get through. But this is your conference. This is your time. I'm just here to help answer some questions. So we're going to get through this in under 30 minutes. We're going to have time at the end for Q&A. If you look in chat, my LinkedIn is there. Add me on LinkedIn. I give lots of free consulting advice to nonprofits over coffee. I give really good and better advice over bourbon. And so after we come back from pandemic, you can take me out for drinks and pick my brain on fundraising. Okay? So the last part of the upfront contract that I'm asking your permission, I would like you all at the end of this to send me a message through LinkedIn and answer a few questions that we're going to go through at the end. Okay? So that's the upfront contract. When we get into your current sales process, and this is where I wish I had my slides, but we're going to go through it. You all are in some sort of development. You all are in some sort of ask, some sort of fundraising. So you probably have a current process for how you identify and ask for funds. So first thing you do, you prospect, right? You go through your previous donor list. You go through an alumni list. You go through a list of community leaders. You go through a list that you purchased. After you've prospected, what's the next step?
Call them.
You call them, right? You reach out. You make contact. It could be through a LinkedIn message, could be through a phone call, could be through an email, could be asking for a warm introduction. Back pre-quarantine, we had them at events. We had them at golf outings. We had them at dinners or luncheons or you know, volunteer events. Okay. Once you've made that contact, what's the next step? You ask for a meeting. You ask for that meeting where you want to actually present to them your mission and present to them your value and present to them your screen.
Yay!
Everyone see that now? Finally. Let's make sure you can see my screen. All right. So everyone can now see the screen. Okay, I'm trying to do presentation mode and not screw everything else up. All right, we'll just do this. And we'll get rid of this. And we'll hide this. And we'll hide this. All right,
Yes,
everyone
sir.
can see that? Perfect. Okay, so where were we? Once you actually finish your prospecting and you make contact and you have your meeting, you present the mission and you present the value of your mission to them. And you try to tell them all the good reasons why they need to offer you their time, their talent, and their treasure to what your ultimate mission is. And after that, even in fundraising at sales, you try to close. You make the ask. I would like you to join our committee. I would like you to sponsor our event. I would like you to donate to our annual fund. I would like you to leave us in your will. You have that ask, that close, that now that you've presented your mission and the value of your mission, you try to close them. And then they're going to come back with objections. They're going to have to think it over. They're going to have to talk to their spouse. They're going to have to run it by a committee. They're going to have to check and see how much time they have. They'll get back to you. So then you close again at that meeting. You ask them to give a small donation. You ask them if you can send them some literature. You ask them to schedule a follow-up meeting. After that, you chase and you chase and you chase. Because if you don't get the yes at that meeting and you get the, I'll think it over, I'll get back to you, this sounds great, you're chasing and you're chasing and you're chasing. And that chasing takes up more time than your actual prospecting. That chasing takes up more time than your actual meeting. So Sheila just said in the chat, I'm only seeing 8 faces. I'm only seeing 8 faces too. I'm not sure how to turn it up so I can turn anyone else on, unless those people are only listening in and don't have their cameras on. But it says we have 20 people in the room, Sheila. We'll make it work. Unless you're trying to share your screen and you're not allowed to, then say in the chat and we'll add you in. So There's a buyer system. And just as we have our system where we prospect, we make contacts, we have a meeting, we present our mission and our value, we close, we overcome objections, we close again, and we chase, the buyer has their system. They withhold information. This buyer system is the donor system. They want free information out of you. They want free consulting. They want free invitations to events. They want to make it look as if they're part of the mission without doing anything. They pretend they're interested. They commit to nothing. Then they disappear. And then you chase. And so we've broken this down to not withhold information, gather free information, pretend they're interested and commit to nothing, and then disappear. We simply call it lie, steal, lie, hide. And unfortunately, we have a lot of people that tell us what we want to hear. They don't share what their real budget is. They don't share what their real intentions are. They don't share what really is in it for them. To be polite, they don't want to tell us no. To be polite, they don't want to tell us no chance in heck. They pretend they're interested and commit to nothing, and then we chase. And then we get gatekeepers. They're out to lunch. They're on the factory floor. They're in a meeting. They're traveling. They're on vacation. All these things happen. So how do we get around this? Well, one thing that we want to look at is the problems with the current fundraising process. If we go through that whole rigmarole of we prospect, right? We make contact, we set a meeting. The process is right now, as fundraisers, you're not in control. And the donors are not going to tell us the truth. They know this system, and even worse right now under a pandemic, it's tough for us to meet with anybody. It's tough for us to have face-to-face meetings right now. And so what I want to really make sure I'm pointing out when I say we are not in control, I've been in your shoes. I've been the fundraiser. I've been the guy that called alumni to see if they knew of a classmate had passed away or to see if they saw some exciting news about the school. And they answered the phone on the caller ID and said, "How much do you need out of me now, Drouin?" Right? They associate fundraising at times with we're always asking. We're needy. It's never enough. We're always trying to find more money. We're always trying to find more donations. We keep coming back to the same people over and over again. Because of that, we are not in control. Think about salesmen, right? We don't have as bad of a reputation as fundraisers as salespeople do, but if everyone is off mute, what are some terms you think of when you hear the term salesman? What are some terms you think of if somebody says, "I've got a sales guy I want you to talk to"?
It's a negative feeling.
Yeah.
You can be more specific.
Smarmy.
Yeah. Salesy.
Salesy.
There you
Not
go.
a real word, but we use it all the time. You guys are too nice. Because I normally hear con artist, snake oil salesman, greasy used car dealer, right? Trying to separate me from my money, trying to take advantage of me. There's certain things that we were taught as kids that are ingrained in us. And when we are in fundraising, very much like sales, we go back to this child state, this child think that we were taught as we were kids. So again, class participation is required. Finish the sentence. Do not speak unless spoken to, right? Children should be seen and, yeah. How about don't talk to
Stranger.
right? Don't ask people how much they
Work.
make. Way would be a good one too, but in this case, we're talking make, okay? So what do we do in fundraising? We go talk to strangers, normally that are more important than us or that are never have heard of us, that have no interest in speaking to us, and we're going to speak to them. Then we're going to ask them about how much they make, how much money they have, and then ask them to separate that money to us, right? This is a sales job. And because of that, unfortunately, we are sometimes associated with the smarmy, condescending, snake oil salesy, used car guy, right? So we have to change the system up. We have to get in control of the system. If they're going to lie, steal information from us, lie again, and then hide, we need to change up the system. We need to change up the dance. So right now, as my presentation isn't working, I normally have this fun exercise where I say to people, give me some of your challenges right now in fundraising. What are you dealing with? And then after you guys all go through and you list them all off, I unveil these one by one, and I've gone through every single thing that you've mentioned. So let's go through some of these right now. You don't have to have a show of hands. You can if you want. But who right now is trying to find a corporation to do a sponsorship and you're not getting to the right decision maker? Who right now is making presentations or proposals and leaving all your expensive fancy literature with somebody that's unqualified to ever make a donation to you? How many people are not maintaining your margins? And while you're getting donations, you're not hitting your goals because you're accepting a lower donation than what you really wanted them to do? How many people are spending way too much time chasing, and these long sales cycles are wasting your time? How many people are 100% convinced that they have the donation in the bag, they have the sponsorship in the bag, and there's a late objection that you didn't address early in the process? How many people have time management? You have no time for prospecting or meeting new people because you're chasing. How many of you are not retaining existing donors? That your donations are transactional and not actually staying as long-term givers? How many sponsor opportunities are they shopping your proposal against other golf outings or other sponsorship opportunities? How many I want to think it over? How often are you making ineffective presentations, just dumping your literature at them and hoping that it convinces them? Not properly dealing with their budget. How many of you are doing unpaid consulting? Sharing all the great things that your community, your mission does, so that they can take it to cocktail parties and talk about how great the mission is and that they're somewhat involved and they've never actually committed to getting involved. Last one, how many are leaving emails and voicemails that don't turn into conversations? Normally everyone's hand goes up on that one. So one of the things we want to do is actually get around some of the things that we forget to ask and that we forget to get involved in the conversation. You know, I want to make sure that as we're going through this, I'm kind of staying on time, and we had our little glitch, so I'm going to keep going soon. But when people are trying to get free information out of you, again, we talked about that they withhold their own information. They want to gather your info. There's all this stuff that you dump on them. What makes your mission unique? How much is the cost of the sponsorship? What's our exposure if we sponsor your event? How does your event compare to your competitors in the city, community? How soon is it? Have you seen other businesses do this to expose themselves, solve a problem? How would we be recognized at an event? And I spelled recognize wrong, I just realized. That's the gathering info stage. How many of you have heard this stuff in the pretend they're interested stage? You've given your presentation, you've handed off your beautiful literature, you've showed them the PowerPoint, and they tell you, wow, this looks pretty good. I just need one more piece of information from someone else in the department. That's the pretend they're interested. I like this a lot. You really impressed me. Or if you're talking to a husband that says, I just need to check with my wife. Or you're talking to a wife that says, I just need to check with my husband. Or a partner that needs to just check with their partner. They like it, but they're not going to commit because they're going to use the partner as the excuse. Another one. Misspelled that one too. People that say that they like the idea, they like the proposal, but they just need to check with accounting, purchasing, the committee. They're waiting on one more proposal. Or just the other favorite, I just want to think it over. They are in control. They lie to us, they don't tell us everything we want to hear, they gather info, they pretend they're interested, and then they hide. And you know what? We do this too, not just the salespeople. Show of hands. Pre-COVID, when we actually could go to retail stores and walk around. Anyone go up to the rack at a department store? You're looking for a shirt for an event, you're looking for a suit for an event, you're looking at a dress for an event, you're looking specifically at what you think you need, and somebody comes up and offers to help you and says, hi, welcome to Macy's, can I help you? And 99% of the time, what's our response?
No.
Nope, just looking. We are conditioned to lie to salespeople. We are conditioned to lie to fundraisers because they aren't to be trusted. They're trying to take our money. And we do this outside of sales as well. Anyone ever own a pickup truck? The famous question, what are you doing this weekend? Is always a leading question to help you move a couch. After the third time, you go, why? I'm busy, right? Remember my single days, happily married to my wife, Anne Marie, 3 kids, 14 years of marriage. But anytime somebody said, you should meet my friend, why? Right? Especially now in social media. Anybody had somebody they went to high school or college with that you haven't talked to in 25 years, and they all of a sudden send you a message that says, hey, great to reconnect. We should grab lunch. Why? Because they're going to try to sell you Thrive, LuLaRoe, Tupperware, Avon. We know why, right? We have our guard up because we're conditioned to do this. 77% of our behavior is hardwired. We want to keep our codes close to the vest. We want to be in control of the conversation, so we lie. Donors do this too because that's what they've been conditioned to do. So, how do we change this up? We do huge mistakes in fundraising because we do 5, 6 different things that absolutely will allow them to know that we're calling to ask them for money. We do the show up and throw up. We give them a phone call and we give them our full name, a bio, a short history of our mission, the value of why we're calling, and the reason why we should talk to them before we even take a breath. Laurel, I've done yours before, so I'm going to pick on you. When the phone rings. Hi, Chris, it's Laurel from Detroit Cristo Rey. We're a Catholic high school in Detroit, and we make a difference in the value and lives of kids in the city. We're looking for fundraisers today to sponsor our golf outing or maybe give job opportunities to kids in the school. And I was wondering if you had a few minutes for me to talk to you about your job opportunities today. Right? You get that phone call from vendors that want to do your credit card processing, that want to sell you a CRM, that want to do your printing. They show up, they throw up, and before they're even through their first breath, we're hanging up on them. We also do the get out of jail free. Hi, Chris, this is Laurel from Detroit Cristo Rey. Are you in charge of your company's corporate sponsorships? Nope. Click. We do the value prop info. Hi, I'm Laurel from Detroit Cristo Rey, and we are the leading Catholic high school in the city of Detroit. We have the highest graduation rates of any schools, and we really want to find more sponsors to bring. Okay. I love the good for you ones, as in I just call and tell you something that I think you're supposed to be impressed by. Hi, my name is Laurel. I'm the new director of advancement at Detroit Cristo Rey High School. Good for you. Click. This is more salesy than donory, but what if I could tell you that your money could go so much further in the community if you found a way to invest in the right mission of your choice, right? It's cheesy, it's salesy. And don't ever say touch. I don't like to touch her. Hey, Laurel, Chris Drouin, just wanted to call and touch base. Yeah, where are you from? Detroit Cristo Rey. Why would I want to touch base with you? Right? We do this in our prospecting. We give them all the information that they don't want to hear up front so that they try to shut it down right away and get off the phone with us because they know we're going to ask them for money. Sheila, how much time do I got?
All day.
Thanks. So here's what I want to go through quickly. If the prospect is in control, there's no real understanding from our end of their needs. We offer facts and figures and information about our mission that might not present any solution to any problems that they have. If we're trying to close them, it's either not helpful, not at the right time, or even not the right decision maker, or they may not even be qualified to support our mission. And when we do all this and they're in control, are chasing waste time and energy over and over and over again. So if we look at this as a sales opportunity, I always teach my salespeople, you're not in this to make friends. You're not in this to make yourself feel good. You're in this to go to the bank. You're in this to close business for your company to get a commission. As a fundraiser, as somebody involved with nonprofits, my win is my mission. If I fail, my mission fails, my nonprofit fails, and worse, the donor loses. The donor has an opportunity to support your great mission. The donor has an opportunity to be time, talent, treasure, a volunteer, a leader, a committee member, a donor. if they are looking for a way to give back to the community, we need to do our best job to provide them with the information they want, that what our mission does meets the need that they have. So as we kind of look at the buyers and sellers, the answers I talk about it, we qualify them for interest, they lie. We present our information, they steal our information. We close and try to get them to make their donation or their investment of their time, and they lie to us. And then we chase them and they hide. Lie, steal, lie, hide. That's the dance. So if we want to change up the dance, we need to break the rules. If we want to break the rules, we have to think of this outside the box. So what I want everyone to do, and these slides are available, is I want you to use this as a networking, as a workshop to come up with a cold intro, a prospecting phone call script that you can use going forward. So again, I'll pick on my friend Laurel. If the phone rings and it says, "Hey Chris, this is Laurel. I'm not sure if you're the right person for me to be speaking with, but maybe I'm wrong." Okay, Laurel, how can I help you? Laurel, you've got your camera on. You've got your mic on.
Yeah, I can do that.
You want to role play these? Okay.
Do you want me to be the caller, or I call you? You call me.
Go for it. Go for it.
Hey, Chris, Laura here. Does my name ring a
Hey,
bell?
hi, Laurel. No, it doesn't. I'm sorry, Laurel. I'm not placing.
How about from Oakland University, AFP? That sound familiar to you?
All right, she's frozen. You froze. I'm sorry. Go ahead again.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Here we go. Do we want to start over?
You keep breaking up on me, so I'm going to move on from this. Sorry, it's not you, it's our technology.
Go ahead.
All right, so the reason why I try to do that little exercise is that when we do the show up and throw up, when we do the good for you, when we do all that stuff, we are so used to cold calls. How many people are getting hundreds of calls a month on their cell phone from somebody trying to sell you a car warranty for a car you don't own? Trying to refinance student loans that you never took out in the first place? Trying to help you, buy health insurance. You've never signed up for this stuff and the phone is ringing. If the phone rings and it's somebody you don't know, you need to make sure that you understand who's on the other end of the line. So we break these up by having these pattern interrupts. If we're gonna make a no pressure prospecting call to a prospect, Scott, if you just call and say, "Hi, this is Scott and I'm here to take your money," I'm gonna hang up on you. So we do certain things that are pattern interrupts. The number one thing I do when I make a prospecting call is I call and give them my name and then I shut up and I let them make the next step. So if I'm gonna call Josephine and I just call and say, "Hey, Josephine, Chris Drouin." There's gonna be an awkward silence. And she's gonna go, "Hi, Chris." From there, I have one of several different ways I can take this. These are the pattern interrupts that takes them out of me trying to ask them for money in my first sentence. "Josephine, I'm guessing that my name is 100% unfamiliar to you." "Yeah, Chris, I'm sorry, I'm not placing it." "No problem." And then I go in why I'm calling, where we might know each other. We met at the Troy Nonprofit Conference and we had connected there on LinkedIn. "Hey, you've donated to my nonprofit before, and I really wanted to follow up with you and talk about New Day." It gives you that opportunity to have that pattern interrupt, to say something that if you are cold calling them, you're not just going to dump information on them and blabber all the value that you have to offer them, and really give them a chance to interrupt their normal pattern of thinking. So again, if you're doing this in cold calling, call, give them your name, say their name, and then shut up. "Hey, Sheila, Chris Drouin." Silence. Wait for Sheila to respond. "Hi, Chris." "Hey, Sheila, does my name ring a bell?" See if they can rack their brain. Or say something like, "Hey, Sheila, I'm looking for some help and I'm not sure if you're the right person for me to talk to." Give them a chance to be engaged in the conversation. These pattern interrupts are an opportunity for you to really make sure that you're taking control of the conversation, because now you've got them on their heels and they're going, who the heck is Chris and why can I not remember him? He said it so matter-of-factly like we were friends. I'm worried I'm going to offend him by not knowing who I am, right? So if you have these pattern interrupts, now is where you actually get to answer that follow-up. I do this to my brother-in-law's coworkers and colleagues and vendors all the time. My brother-in-law, Pat Casey, is a commercial roofer. He's been in roofing forever, third generation, and there's not a roofer in the state that hasn't had a beer with him. As soon as I make that phone call and say, hey, Krista, Chris Drouin. And there's the pause, and then there's the pause, and then Krista says, yeah, Chris, how can I help you? If I told you I knew Patrick Casey, would you hang up on me? Oh, Pat, how's he? Great, that kind of stuff. Think about doing this with your board members. Think about doing this with your current donors. Think about doing this with your major donors. Think about doing this with your volunteers. You're looking for a sponsorship for an opportunity. You know one of their coworkers? Use that. Krista, I saw you're a member of the Detroit Chamber of Commerce. I got your name from Joanne Preston. Hey, Josephine. Not sure if my name rings a bell, but Sheila Denstead over the Detroit Chamber told me you might be a good person for me to talk to. I'm not sure if the right person for me to be asking this to, but can I take a few seconds and tell you why I called? These ways, these pattern interrupts takes the donor's dance and puts it back in our control. It allows us to make sure that we are controlling the conversation, that we are leading where we want to get them to. Okay? Am I still sharing my screen?
What happened?
There it is. Found it. So there's one more thing that I want to make sure we kind of cover is within this, we want to have what's called a 30-second commercial. So on these prospecting calls, we don't want to show up and throw up. We don't just want to dump a bunch of information on them. We don't just want to tell them our things. We want to give them the opportunity to have what we call the stroke, the complement of somebody similar that we've worked with. We want to show them a pain of somebody else that we've helped solve. And we want to show them an opportunity to work with us. So let's go back to Elizabeth. Child safe, right?
Yeah.
If I was going to make a no pressure prospecting call to a potential donor, it might sound something exactly like this. So role play this with me, Elizabeth, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Ring, ring.
Hi.
Hey, Elizabeth, it's Chris Drouin.
Hello.
Hey, I'm guessing my name doesn't ring a bell, does it?
Not at the moment, no.
Don't worry, I wasn't sure if it would. I did a lot of work with the Judson Center back in the day, and Peggy Kerr is a good friend of mine. Do you know Peggy?
Of course.
Okay, perfect. So, hey, look, I'm not sure if you're the right person for me to talk to, but do you mind if I take a quick 30 seconds and tell you why I called?
Of course not. Go ahead.
Okay, so I work with an organization called Child Safe Michigan, and basically we help children get adopted. And typically we're looking for people to support us that fall in kind of 1 of 3 different buckets. First, really successful business person, really successful company that has wanted to make a difference in their community. And so they've been looking for a partner in their hometown that they can really get involved with to give some financial support. The second group that we're working with, again, very successful business within the community, and they want to find something that they can use as their sponsorship dollars to support something with children. And they've been looking for the right partner that actually will support kids, and we've been able to actually show them the value that their dollars have been able to make. And then the last group, again, really successful company, just like yours, and they're trying to find something that they can get an end of the year tax deduction. And as the year's wrapping up, we've been able to help them kind of find the right place to make an investment that'll not only help the community, but give them a couple dollars back. Look, I don't know your business like you're doing. I don't know your corporate contributions like you do, but does any of that sound relevant in your world?
Well, it could.
It could. Okay, which part?
Well, the kind of the return on investment as far as the sponsorship and how we might get our company's name out there. And what does your look like, or how do you do that?
Well, those are all really good questions, and I'd love to kind of sit here and go through this, but to be honest, I got a meeting in 2 minutes and I thought I was gonna get your voicemail. I've got my calendar open. Do you mind if we book an hour and we can kind of go over all those questions together?
I don't know if I can give you an hour, and of course, right now during COVID, it would have to, be on the phone. But I guess I could.
Of course, of course. So let me grab my calendar. All right, good job, everyone. Give her a round of applause. Okay. Now, I've never done fundraising for Child Safe. I've never done sponsorships for Child Safe. I don't even know if those are the type of ideal donors and client profiles you have, but did that seem like kind of something that might work to get to a decision maker to actually hear you and what you do?
I think that was really good, Chris. The only thing, of course, is the tax deduction stuff has changed. But, for me, it was a lot of, and I work a lot from the passion basis and friendships and, friends of friends, which absolutely what you're saying is right on target. But I think that, and the part actually that I am missing is the corporate part, because I'm not addressing it just the way you did. And that was extremely helpful.
So I want everyone to take this as a note, okay? And these slides are going to be available. Come up with your script. When I say script, I legitimately help people write scripts, and we type them up so that it has multiple different intros. Does my name ring a bell? Did I catch you at a bad time? What if I told you I knew? How about you know me from, we met at? All that kind of stuff. Have it on a piece of paper in front of you. Elizabeth, you mentioned, we're under COVID right now. We're all doing this through Zoom calls. I can have as many notes as I want in front of me, and the customer will never know. Prospect will never know that I'm reading from a script. And so once I kind of have that breakthrough of bonding and rapport, then I go into my quick, do you mind if I take 30 seconds and tell you why I called? At this point, they're not thinking it's a sales call. And you've asked them to give you permission to tell you why they called. Then you go into the relevance, what I call the stroke, the pain, and the relevance. The stroke is the compliment. I work with very successful alumni like you. I work with great community leaders like you. We partner with great community-based organizations like you. We partner with great local businesses like you. Give them that stroke. Relate them to somebody that you worked with in the past. Make them feel good about themselves. Then offer the pain. How is this relevant maybe in their world? They're trying to find a tax deduction. They want to find a community-based organization. They want to find a local organization. They're looking to, and you guys know your donors better than you do. You can even lead with stuff like, we're looking for people that want their names on the side of the building as a legacy. We're looking for people that want recognition in the community through their sponsorship opportunities. You know your people better than you do, than I do. Have a relevance in there. And if they tell you no, they're allowed to tell you no. Prospecting is getting a lot of no's, whether it's fundraising or sales, volunteers or dollars. If they tell you no, ask for a referral. Hey, makes sense. I appreciate the honesty. If I'm hearing you right, you're 100% happy with where you're donating your money. If it does everything you need, that's great. Who do you think I should talk to? Do you know anybody else in your graduating class, organization, professional services? Do you mind if I go through your LinkedIn? Okay. Ask for permission to ask for referrals. So we have like 2 minutes left, and I've tried to shrink down an 8-week course. Laurel, was it 8 weeks or 10 weeks? Into about 45 minutes. And we have some technical difficulties, but I think we came through on top. So I guess I'm going to go down to the bottom and just ask anybody that wants to contact me. My LinkedIn is in the chat box. And I'd ask you to reach out to me either by email or LinkedIn and tell me 4 things. What is one thing you learned today? Is there value in us having a further conversation? Again, I give free advice over coffee. I give great free advice over bourbon.
That's my drink too.
Perfect. And I guess this, normally my presentations are no less than 90 minutes to 2 hours. I've done it for the Flint Chamber, Clarkson Chamber, Auburn Hills Chamber, Rochester Chamber. This one was really squished, so we rushed it. But are you a part of a group? Are you a part of a professional fundraisers group? Are you a part of a community organization? I've spoken for Kiwanis. I've spoken for Knights of Columbus. Anyone that might need me as a guest speaker, we can do these longer, let me know. And then is there anyone in your world I should have a conversation with? Again, my main thing is I train salespeople. I'm always looking for referrals. I did this today because I like to give back to the community and nonprofits, but I'm still a for-profit guy by the day. If there's somebody that you would like me to meet that you think needs to have a conversation to train their fundraising team or to train their sales team, I would love the intro and I would love the referral. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Everyone's got my email, everyone's got my LinkedIn. Everyone's gonna add me. Yeah. All right. Can everyone give me a quick thumbs up too so I can share this on LinkedIn? And a smile, come on. Perfect. Because I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna tag some of your nonprofits as you guys were here today and you were part of the presentation. And if you like it, like it.
Thanks, Chris.
Sheila, are they kicking me out? Are you taking back over? Sheila's in charge. I'm not in charge.
Sheila left.
Oh, well then I'm leaving too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, I mean, if they're not kicking us out, is Q&A. Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone want any follow-ups?
I like what you said about the power of silence, Chris, and waiting.
If you could tell during this presentation, that's a really tough skill for me. But seriously, when I go through the show up and throw up and the good for yous and that stuff, that is what we think they want to hear. You know, I'm just going through this. Joanne, if you started every call with, "Hi, this is Joanne from the Troy Historical Society, and we benefit 4 communities in the area, and we give I'm busy. It's my work day. I'm not interested. If you actually stop and say, "Hey, I got your information from the Troy Chamber Nonprofit Conference." Oh, like-minded person. You're with a nonprofit. I attend a nonprofit conference. Hey, I got your name from the Troy Chamber. Oh, I joined the chamber to sell stuff. Maybe she's calling me to buy something. And then you flip it on. You mind if I tell you why I called? Right? You know your mission. You know your donors. You have to go out and find more of them. Time, talent, treasure. Have a different script written for volunteers. Have a different script written for donations. Have a different script for first-time donors versus donors that were lost. Laura, I'll put that on you. This isn't the first year the school's been involved around. Go back 5 years. Find out people that donated 5 years ago. Call them. Hey, Chris, Laurel Schaff. Hi, Laurel, how can I help you? Hey, I'm guessing my name doesn't ring a bell. I'm with Detroit Cristo Rey, and you donated to us back in 2015. Oh, yeah, Laurel, how's it going? Hey, not sure if the right person for me to talk to, but, right, go through those lost donors. The first donation is the hardest to get. The renewals are the easy ones. If you have one and you lost them, go back to them.
Okay.
Is my mic on? Can you hear me? Okay. I got a very successful call. I was the recipient of a call yesterday from a person that I had already decided that I was telling their organization no, and I already had figured out why I was telling them no, because they had talked to my husband the day before. However, when she called and then asked me a question, and all of a sudden I was talking about what I do and what I love, and she turned that around into what her organization does and how we are one. And I ended up saying, yeah, I'll be donating, because she was comfortable with the silence while she asked and learned about what was important to me. And then she responded. I don't know whether it was honestly or not, but she responded that she shared my interest.
So this is the Sandler submarine. And again, this is kind of what we teach. So when we normally do the lie, steal, lie, hide dance with them, we've broken it down into 7 parts, where the initial part is the bonding and rapport. The second part is the upfront contract, where you're allowed to tell me no. You're allowed to absolutely tell me, no, I'm not interested. And then that pain part is really the questioning strategy, Joanne, where she asks you questions about why you might want to get involved. She asks you questions about the value of the mission. She asks you questions about other groups that you've worked with. And that's really uncovering your pain. So when I do pain and donations, when I'm doing sales training, normally the pain is we're not selling enough. We're not sticking to our margins. We're not hiring the right people. When I do fundraising, the pain is normally, and Laurel, I use this example with you all the time. There's a buddy of mine, Brother Rice guy. His father passed away when he was a sophomore at Rice, and the dad club stepped in and paid his tuition the next 3 years for him and his brother so that they never had to leave. What's his pain? The deceased father's fund. He has to give back. He has to pay it forward. Don't think of pain always as a negative thing. He wants to do it altruistically because of the value for him. So if I would have just said to him, hey, I'm raising money for Brother Rice Sports, or I'm raising money for the Brother Rice Capital campaign, I might really tick somebody like him off. If I actually call him and actually ask him questions about, has he supported Catholic education in the past and why might he be interested, and I actually get him to open up that, yeah, he was able to graduate from a Catholic school because the dad's club were able to step up and pay his tuition. Now I ask him, do you want to get involved with the dad's club? Is that something you'd be interested in maybe paying it forward? It really addresses the need. Some people just want their name on the side of the building, or they want their name in the highest level of donors in the annual fund book. That's okay. We'll take their money too. Some people want to do it anonymously. That's what their pain is. I don't want more people asking me for money, so if I give it to you, will you promise that you don't tell anybody? These are the pain questions that you can kind of walk through, and once you discuss pain, you can talk about budget. You can find out who the decision makers are in their decision-making process. You ask them fulfillment for when they're going to donate, when the check's coming through, what recognition they deserve. And then the post-sell is making sure that they know that this isn't a one-time thing. This is a relationship, and you're going to be asking them going forward to continue investing in your nonprofit. So we have a whole system when it comes to this. The prospecting phone call is the very upfront part of it.
Thank you, Chris. Helpful.
All right. Who really needs a bathroom break before the next session?
Thank
Thank you.
I'm hanging up on everybody. Thank you all so much for coming out. Can't wait to meet you on LinkedIn too.